and welcome back here to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 4 of my best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now, before we get stuck into that, I just want to go through a couple of things with you. Now, first of all, we haven't done so already. Make sure you check out the latest episode of In the Beer Garden with me and Shireen Rood. That's the Hong Kong previews we do for the Happy Valley meetings every Wednesday. Been doing really well since we started doing it back in mid-December. We've had some good results. I know I've been doing quite well of late. A couple of weeks ago, I landed all 3 winners in the Triple Trio races at Happy Valley. And also as well, last week I was able to provide you with a nice winner, which went off at around about 9 to 1. That was Handsome Bobo. And also as well, all our other selections made the frame. And I know quite a few of you do my selections for those races in some each way multiples. And that meant if you backed them in an each way multiple, you would have been quids in. So we've been in decent form over in the Far East, in Hong Kong. And hopefully that will continue for tomorrow. So if you want to watch it, there's a link to it in the description box below. And hopefully, like I said, we can find some winners in Hong Kong. Also as well, before I go into the tips for tomorrow, just want to quickly go through on how our selections performed today. In the end, it was a good day here on the YouTube channel, as all three of our selections that we're able to run today yielded us some profit. We had 2 winners. The first of them came at Exeter. That was our next best, as Don Harbinger in the end was able to grind it out really well and was very game in the end. And I think Charlie Dijk gave him a peach of a ride. I was a little bit concerned because if you were watching the race, if you didn't see it, this horse actually started off towards the front of the race, and then it drifted back and was pretty much in last place, but then crept through the field and on the last circuit and just picked them off one by one and stayed on really strongly in the end. It always looked like Charlie Dijk was very confident. To be fair, I'm not really the biggest fan of Charlie Dijk. I often think he's not a particularly strong one in the finish, but I think tactically he's always quite good and is a good judge of pace. And I think he can be quite good on staying chasers, especially in the mud. And Venetia's team have been running really well of late as well. So Don Harbinger, I thought he was quite well handicapped, and he obviously proved that today. And in the end, he was the last man standing pretty much, as his only, I think, 3 horses finished that race. So I hope some of you were on Don Harbinger there. Also as well, we had a nice winner at Southwell in the 640. That was an extra tip with Secret Handshake. Absolutely bolted up for Holly Doyle and Archie Watson, and was really strong in the betting beforehand. So that was a nice winner there. Had some good form last time out that have been well advertised. So that was a nice performance there. So they were 2 good results for us. Also as well, the Longshot was able to claim the extra place money, as I put up Miss Honey Rider with SkyBet, who are offering 5 places for the race, and they did fulfill those 5 places, and we were able to sneak in 5th place. Advertised at 14 to 1 at the time. I know it was well gambled on, and it did go off around about half that price, but at least we got our money back there and a little bit extra. So yeah, that was good there. The only other selection that I did put up today that unfortunately didn't run was Dundrum Wood. That was the nap at Fakenham, so unfortunately our nap didn't run today. I really fancied him to go well, won well at Newcastle last time out and had really strong form claims, but in the end they called off the meeting at Fakenham, which was a bit bizarre really, because despite having a waterlogged track, they didn't actually say that you were going to be holding a precautionary inspection. So yeah, that was a bit baffling, because I was working at Sky Sports Racing today and that was the only jumps meeting we were covering today. So yeah, that kind of went out the window and had lots of other work to do to try and fill it in the end. I know we have French racing on obviously, but it's not the same. So yeah, that was a little bit of a headache for me. But yeah, that's why our nap didn't run today. So if you're wondering why, yeah, the racing at Fakenham was abandoned. Anyway, that's all the promotion stuff out of the way and the reflection. Let's get into the tips then for tomorrow's racing. And like I said at the top of the show, I've got 4 tips for tomorrow's race. And now I did fancy 1 or 2 at Chepstow, but again, they're going to be holding a meeting, so I thought we won't go there. Let's go to some meetings that hopefully will be going ahead. We're going to be going to Newbury tomorrow, where they got a nice looking card there, and we're going to be going to the 2:30 for my long shot of the day, where we're going with a Gary Moore horse here called Hit the Rocks, and his son Jamie Moore is booked for the ride. At the time of recording, you can back this horse at 22 to 1 with SkyBet, who are offering 6 places, and I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection. Now I know there are some firms offering a slightly bigger price, but they're going to be offering less places, so I'm a bit of a coward really. I'm going for more places than value, but I still think that this horse really should be half the price he is, to be honest with you, because if you actually look at his form, I think he's actually got some nice form next to his name. He's run well in a couple of novice hurdles at Plumpton behind the likes of Highway 102, and also as well he ran behind a nice horse of Paul Nicholls. So yeah, I think he's got some good form to bring to the table in the context of this race tomorrow. And he is going to be making his handicap debut tomorrow for a mark of 111, which I do think is a very workable mark for this horse. Also as well, he's had a reappearance run at Lingfield in one of the Jumpers Bumpers meetings. He didn't disgrace himself there by finishing in 4th place. And the Gary Moore stable have been in cracking form of late. They had a nice winner with a nice horse today called Fullback there, and also as well they had a treble at Lingfield on Monday with the Jumpers Bumpers card. So the yard are in good form at the moment, and I think this fella is actually fairly well treated off a mark of 111. The ground could be a question mark, but both of his 2 starts in those novice hurdles were on heavy ground, so he has experienced it before, and there's quite a few in this race that have major ground concerns. I know, like, obviously ours would still have to prove that he handles it, but at least he's actually run on it, where quite a lot of the others haven't run on it at all. The race could cut up tomorrow, so if you are looking with those extra places, just make sure you see the T's and C's, because sometimes if there are some non-runners, they do decrease their places. So at the current time recording, there are 6 places available. So yeah, hopefully all the runners will still stand, but yeah, I do expect probably 1 or 2 to maybe not participate in this race tomorrow. But I just thought Hit the Rocks for a yard that are doing really well, had some good form to bring to the table. You know, I didn't think that the horse at the top of the betting either had particularly strong claims, and I just think this horse making his handicap debut tomorrow, showing some nice ability. I think he could be off a workable mark, and that's why he's going to be my long shot of the day. We then go to Newcastle for my extra tip of the day, which runs in the 255, and this is one of the Jumpers Bumpers cards tomorrow. Now there's some really nice horses on show at Newcastle tomorrow, and arguably this is one of the best of them, but I thought it was quite a big price in the context of this race, and that's one of my old favourites. If you've been following my work for some time, you know that I've got a soft spot for this horse. I've put him up a couple of times, and he did me no bad favours really when he finished in 2nd in the Ladbrokes trophy behind Cloth Cap. I know Cloth Cap was a really emphatic winner that day, was in receipt of bags of weight, but I still think High Right ran a really nice race from the front, and he's a really lovely horse for Harriet Graham, who's one of the smallest trainers there must be around. She's actually clerk of course, I believe, to Musselburgh and Kelso, but she does train, and she's got a couple of nice horses, and Iro is obviously her stable flagship bearer. Iro this season has been very progressive. You know, last season he really took to fences really well. He beat Mulcahy's Hill at Newcastle very easily, who's no mug, and then this season he's run some good races behind the likes of Nutswell, finishing 2nd at Kelso, where that form looks solid. He finished 3rd in the Charlie Hall, obviously 2nd, like I said earlier, in the Ladbrokes Trophy at Newbury. He's been running really well, and he's off a mark now of 151. I believe the aim is actually eventually to go to the SkyBet chase at Doncaster, which is next weekend. So yeah, I think he would definitely have a great shout in that race, and they're obviously just going to be trying to send him here to get a run under his belt. But I still think in this field he's very capable tomorrow. He's actually a bumper winner, which is no bad thing. A lot of horses that have shown ability on the flat or have done well in bumpers often do well in these races, which obviously means that they've got a good turn of foot, and also as well the way he likes to race, be prominent and handy. It might suit him at Newcastle tomorrow because the track is riding standard to slow, and when it's riding like that, it definitely puts the emphasis on stamina, and we can know he can stay further. So if he can get a good prominent ride tomorrow under Callum Bewley, I expect him to go very close in this race, and I just think it could be his toughness that could just see him out in good stead. So I think at 4-1 that's a good price there, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet as my extra tip of the day. We then go back to Newbury for the 305, and this is where my next best is going to be coming in tomorrow, and that's Panic Attack for Tom Scudamore and David Pipe. Now I know this isn't a very original selection, currently 13-8 in the betting, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet, but there's obvious form chances for this horse. Was a really nice winner last time at Newbury. He's running on really strongly, you know, and pulling clear away from the rest of the field. Now the handicapper has raised her £10 for that win. She won that race last time off a mark of 113. She's going to be running off a mark of 123 tomorrow, but I think she's still got a couple of pounds to maybe eke out that handicap mark, you know. And this isn't a particularly strong mares race, you know. Quite a few exposed types in here, and I think Panic Attack still has a bit more progression to come. You might remember she actually previously started out life with Willie Mullins when she was owned by Tony Bloom, when she won the listed mares bumper race that Eileen Dover won at the weekend. So she's obviously always had a lot of ability, especially as well showing a good turn of foot. But yeah, Panic Attack, bit of a slow burner of David Pipe, but it looks like they got to the bottom for her. It was similar conditions as well when she raced at Newbury, so that shouldn't be too much of a concern. And David Pipe's team are absolutely in red hot form at the moment. They're having a good time of things, and I just think this horse will take all the beating in this race tomorrow. Like I said, I know it's not an original selection, but if you wanted to maybe put her in a double or something, I think she's good value at 13 to 8, and arguably could go off slightly shorter come post time. So that's going to be my next bet of the day. We then go to the Southwell for the 6:30 for the nap of the day on the fibre stand, and I'm going to be going with a horse here called Van Dijk. No, I'm not a Liverpool fan, I'm actually a Southampton fan, so I was absolutely gutted when Van Dijk left, and I'm fed up with all those jokes over the years about Liverpool buying our players, but at least we were able to beat them 1-0 a couple of weeks ago, so at least we got one back on them. And James Ward-Prowse, he's not a scouse, so that's my own saying. Anyway, enough football terminology there. Back on the race, and this Van Dijk must be owned by Liverpool fans as well, because in these colours you've got Klopp, and also as well a couple of other Liverpool related horses. But yeah, this horse Van Dijk has been coming into a little bit of form of late for Anthony Britton and Harry Russell, who's going to be able to claim £5 in this race tomorrow. And on his last start, he ran in a handicap when he was finishing on really strongly at the line. Now, he just bumped into one that day of Ivan Furtado's, but that horse is going to be running in this race tomorrow, and that was a handicap last time. This is a classified stakes, and as a result, our horse is actually going to be £8 better off, and there was only half a length between them last time out. Also as well, Ollie Pears has a horse in here who our horse met on his penultimate start when he ran in the classified race, which is this grade he's running in tomorrow. And our horse got up late to win on the line. And if you actually remember that race and saw it, this horse was really off the bridle early on, but stayed at it and can actually stay further than the mile trip. But I just think the way the race could be run tomorrow, you're going to have Ivan Furtado's horse running in that, and also as well Ollie Pears' horse probably up there with the pace tomorrow, forcing it. And I think if they go quite hard, which I expect them to do, I think it could set up really perfectly for Van Dijk, and back in this company again, and also as well very well off at the weights. I think he's got a really cracking chance. You can currently back him at 3 to 1 at the time recording. I think that's a good price there, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet as my nap of the day. So they're the 4 tips for tomorrow's racing. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos here on my YouTube channel. Also as well, if you're enjoying them, please remember to hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate all the support you give me. Also as well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, that is the best place to do so, on social media, where my handle is @LuckyLoader15. And if you want to know a little bit about myself, my website is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please game responsibly. Hopefully we can have some more winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.